Is it win now for James Harden? I mean, he's played with Russell Westbrook and KD and Serge Ibaka in his prime. He's had Dwight Howard in his prime. He had CP3, and then he had Kyrie with KD as well too. And now he wants to move again to play with Embiid. One, do you think this is even going to work? Do you think he actually is going to commit to being here and is not going to want to, go elsewhere as well too? And two, I mean, is it win now? Like, is his legacy on the line right now, you think?
I love that you said the last thing. His legacy definitely is on the line. If you're talking about the last 2 seasons, the way you got traded is kind of like, we're not going to forget it. I'm not going to forget it. You leave Houston and you basically force your way out. Let's saying like, what was he injured when he was leaving, or was it just like he was away? I can't really. It was just kind of sloppy the way he left.
I mean, I think he. I don't really know, because just based on the report that we saw today, they stated that he's going to be replaced for the All-Star. So I'm guessing he's going to use this time to nurse the hamstring, or maybe he just wants to get in shape. If I was an honest man, I don't think he was hurt.
Yeah, same. I'm pretty sure he also bought into his contract this season. So if we're talking about him being a free agent in 2023, I think he will stay for these 2 years because when he was on for MVP, it was him and Clint Capella. Clint Capella is literally like a broke man's Rudy Gobert. So if you're going to give him an Embiid, this is going to be a big step for him. I don't think he's going to, well, maybe this could be my bias because if we're talking about winning the East and you're really going to ask me that question, I don't see them beating us, the Miami Heat. I don't see them beating the Bucks at all, honestly. Like Joel Embiid going up against Giannis, if Brook Lopez comes back, if Bobby Portis is really on the way he thinks himself he is, I don't think they can beat them. I think if Ben Simmons turns up and really shows out, the Nets could probably beat them. But yeah, it is coming down to that point where James Harden literally made this move to say, like, I need to get my career back on track and start winning championships, or else they're just going to remember me as a one-time guy that won MVP. And maybe they think about me when I was getting like 60-point games and 50-point games for that one season. And that's it. That's your whole career. You left OKC to become the guy. You left Houston to join up with the Nets. Thought that was going to work. And now you're on the 76ers. This is probably your best opportunity with another superstar. Maybe they move Tobias and somebody else to get a third guy that can really be a third guy, or maybe Tobias steps up. But this is probably, at least in my opinion, this is my favorite opportunity he's had in recent years. If we're comparing Chris Paul, Clint Capella to this team right now, I believe he's 32 years old. He turns 33 in August. So I don't know how long his timeline is. He's not really a guy that can he's not an athletic guy for real, but he does have a lot of hamstring injuries and injury history. So maybe his timeline is shorter than we think. Maybe he's finally realized his timeline is shorter than he thinks or he thought. Maybe he's looking at a KD and a Kyrie. Like, you guys don't really have your own solo rings that can really go towards your legacy. So maybe he opened his eyes and this is why he made that move. So yeah, this Philly team will be his team to go to the finals, and he has to start getting that for his legacy.
Yeah, I think that's what it kind of came down to, his legacy. He's already going to go down as one of the best scorers in the modern history. And now, like you said, all he wants is a championship. And I just feel like, looking at it from the outside in, I was just mad about how he went about moving from Brooklyn.
Right.
But I understand the grand scheme of things of wanting to win, because in Brooklyn there was just a lot of levels of uncertainty over there with Kyrie in and out. Their roster really wasn't defensive minded. Steve Nash looks like he didn't know what he wanted to do with the lineups or the roles that were kind of defined. So it was just a lot of wear and tear and inconsistency, and a little bit dysfunction going on over there as well too. So I don't blame him as well too. I mean, in a perfect world, it's kind of funny. We talked about, is this going to go down as the biggest upset and they actually get traded? Yes, this kind of did kind of go down as the biggest upset. But in the perfect world, obviously we all want to see that. But I think the pressure is on him now. We're saying that he has an injury history. People are giving him bad raps of kind of going from one location to another, not be able to get it done with another superstar or whatnot. So you can argue, I mean, aside from KD, this is probably the best player he's played with that's still in his prime as well, too. And a lot of people always say, yo, Embiid, like all Embiid needs is that number two piece and he can get far. So I think the
Right,
pressure's on
right.
both of them, in my opinion, and even on Doc as well, too. Even on Doc, because Doc, I mean, he's a great coach. Don't get me wrong, but he hasn't won championships since before the new era of basketball. So there's something to look out for as well, too. So if you don't get to the finals, then it's kind of a failure in this sense as well, too. But I mean, you couldn't have just let Embiid waste his prime while having Ben Simmons just stay on the bench as well, too. So it's going to be interesting. Like you said, Harden has that hamstring injury. Joel Embiid's been known to have injury, but it's been pretty healthy past couple seasons. So now's the moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what you wanted. So let's see what's going to happen as well, too. I mean, this is their best shot to win a championship. And like you said, I mean, if they don't get it this year, they can move around Tobias Harris and kind of flip him and get a sort of a big three, but no excuses this year. And now we're going to get to see, because I feel like in he had to take a back seat when he was on the Brooklyn Nets as well, too, with Kyrie being the number one and KD being the number one and number two together. He had more so be a facilitator, and his points per game went down. So now being a number two option, sometimes being a number one night, depending on the matchup on any given night, we're gonna see what we're gonna see what you talking about in the playoffs with him and Embiid. So if we can get the Harden from Houston, and even the Harden before the hamstring injury when KD had that problem last year, and James Harden was, we literally, most of us say, yo, he looks like the best player in the league. Then it's very scary hours in Philly as well, too. So it's definitely a championship or bust. Definitely legacy on the line. And now it's just like you're getting older, so you're gonna take care of your body. Like what's good. So I definitely expect them to, try to host that banner at the end of the day and host that trophy for sure.